Bert here, and we're back. And now it took a lot less than 17 hours to print that, I can tell you that for sure, because I took my little speed dial and I cranked that little sucker up to 11. And it took just under 11 hours to 3D print the auto pistol from beginning to end. I've already put it together, and here it is. Did a little bit of just matte black paint primer that you use for like cars or anything else you'd really want. And then just a little bit of gunmetal with some sandpaper, and gave it a really good distressed, authentic look. In the game, and in the movie, the games, they had this too, but there's not many games that had it. It had like a dummy magazine where it would fire like 200 rounds sometimes, which is complete crap. And in the movie, it had apparently a 50 round magazine of 9 by 19 millimeter, which is your standard pretty much 9 millimeter ammo, which I can say is a total load of crap because you would never get 50 rounds into a clip this size. Now, this is actually to scale for the movie, and it is really, really nice. It feels really good in your hand. It's got a good accurate feel. I know they recently added a gun like this into Destiny, and people are calling it the Robo Cop gun. It actually is kind of cool. I don't think they really got their inspiration from RoboCop. If they did, that's awesome. But back to the gun. So I printed it in 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 5 pieces altogether. I actually used my custom 3D printer that has a really big print platform to print this all at once. So this came out, and I cranked up the speed and got a really good print rate out of it. And it came out very nice. It didn't require almost any cleanup whatsoever either. Probably because I'm using a new extruder head too that has a no cling feature, so I don't get any of those little ripples in the 3D print. Gave it a quick acetone bath for about 30 seconds each piece for 3 times, so it gave it a nice smooth finish. But all in all, though, you can look at the gun and tell that from the movie they originally took a Beretta 92F, and then they just added a whole bunch of Hollywood crap on top of it. This extended compensator and bigger magazine, obviously a bigger handle, and some other fancy doodads back here. And I can tell you that this part right here is not actually on a Beretta 92F. All the other stuff actually is, though, so it is very accurate. It has a little hammer, it has a fancy little sight, and it feels a lot like a Beretta 92F. I don't own one of them. I have shot one, but it still feels very ergonomically. It's got a good ergonomics. It was made very, very well. And as you can see, I did get this from My Mini Factory. I'll attach a link down in the bottom. But all in all, though, the gun took just over 12 hours. So I went out and I was playing Rise of Iron and watched a movie. And while this was printing, took it off the print bed, cleaned it up a little bit with some acetone, glued it together, and spray painted it. And I only took this off the print bed probably 90 minutes ago. And yeah, it came together really, really nice. I'm quite happy with it. So for a one-day build, took about 12 hours. I got up at 5. It is 7:30 right now, so that's not bad. Really only had to interact with, making this for about an hour altogether, and here it is. I got a cool RoboCop weapon prop. I gotta say, it does take me back to those days when I was a kid. I loved RoboCop as a kid. The first 3 movies were okay. All the other ones that came after kind of sucked, and the new one, I'm not really sure if we would call that really RoboCop. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I've watched it a lot, and I still don't know how I feel about it. I would like to make RoboCop's, the new one, his taser pistol, and then the 50 caliber pistol that he has from that too, but we'll see. Nonetheless, though, here we go. We got the RoboCop badass assault pistol. I do wish this thing was real, because if you go to the range and you would unload 50 rounds from a pistol like this at full auto, people would be freaking out, and that would be really cool in my opinion. Other than that, I do have the Doom Marine helmet here. I am working on it. I finally, after about 200 hours of work, I've come up with a actual shell where you can just print it, put it together, and you can literally just put it right on. Now, that being said, it still needs a little bit of tweaking just because I've got some errors on it, but we will get that figured out. Anyway, one-day builds, the Robo Cop Auto Pistol, 50 round 9mm. I like this thing. Definitely going to add this to the collection. Well, guys, it's time for me to go. So until next time, I am Bert from Pixel Armory. Like, favorite, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.